Absolutely nothing.
No.
Bad side of the internet would be my guess.
I know that it's where all the illegal stuff can be found.
I don't know, like you can like hire a hitman and stuff on it. I don't know.
I wouldn't be able to tell you what it really is, but I've heard it floating around.
Drugs.
No.
Never heard of it.
Knives.
Nope.
Not at all.
Bombs.
The who?
Pornography.
No,
No.
can't say I do, no.
That sort of stuff that you probably shouldn't look for.
The dark web?
Yeah.
Is that where they whip you?
That's full of really messed up stuff.
The dark web is a hidden place within the internet that contains thousands and thousands of terabytes of information. That includes everything from boring statistics to body parts for sale. What makes the dark web different to the internet that me and you know is that the dark web is largely untraceable, which inevitably leads to cybercrime. After hours of research, we found ourselves somewhat confused on what the dark web actually is and why it exists. So we spoke to an expert.
Well, it goes back to what it originally was set up to do. It was set up to survive a nuclear holocaust. It was allowing for a communication system to continue after nuclear bombs were dropped. That was its original architecture. It was there to survive. It wasn't there to be secure. So that dark net, you could say, is a non-Google network. You know, or Google hasn't actually gone and used a web crawler over it to find index what's on it. So you could look at it that way. Another way is it's just another network working over the internet, a different environment. If you're talking about, is it a conclave of just drug and criminal activity, then it's not. There is a question about criminality. Cybercrime is a very rich place for criminals to operate. The biggest problem is attribution of the crime. Who's done it? Cyber policing has to develop. How it develops is going to be an interesting decade or so. There's no such thing as absolute security. So if you put in a defensive measure, somebody else will work out how to get around it.
What if I told you that the surface web, Google and Bing to me and you, only takes up 4% of the internet, and the rest, it's all hidden away on the dark web. Dorset Police only appointed its first cybercrime prevention officer 6 months ago. The issue with cybercrime is that there simply aren't enough resources to tackle it. When one criminal website is taken down, who knows how many more are created? And the nature of anonymity on the dark web poses a problem for the authorities.
I guess it'd be difficult to say how much is actually done through the dark web and through Tor, but essentially, if I'm in place to advise people on how not to get affected by these cybercrimes, it might not have been actually targeted via Tor. That it can come in through a whole variety of methods. It could be a simple phishing email. We might not know the origin of it at that stage, but that gets looked into on a larger scale with the NCA, the National Crime Agency.
What kind of challenges does the dark web present for your colleagues?
Well, the number one is going to be it's largely untraceable. Especially my colleagues, if you're looking specifically local in Dorset Police, it's a huge area. We can't even start to investigate Tor. We haven't got the resource, we haven't got the money, the manpower behind it. But I think punishment is definitely going to increase over time. We're starting to see that it's a faceless crime, but if we can put more money into it to find out those specific criminals out there, I'm sure they're going to start putting more punishment on them to hopefully try and deter them from becoming those cyber criminals in the first place.
Our research and common sense told us that computer literacy has a growing importance in today's society. Today, the curriculum enforces that children from the age of 6 are now being taught how to write in code.
I think it's essential. I think it's essential now. Every job that you look at, even if you looked at the most humble jobs like bin man, At some point in the future, that's going to become automated. There's going to be tools that make it easier. There's going to be automated processes that make that role almost redundant. You're going to need people to program those and new jobs that are more tech savvy.
However, he says that this new change to the curriculum is long overdue, rendering ICT lessons of 5 years ago pointless.
And it should be more technical. It shouldn't just be this is how you use PowerPoint and to do a presentation. It should be this is how you build a piece of software.
After our chat about his current work, Chris tells us just how easy it can be to hack into a company database system.
I've gone into a company before to help them with their cybersecurity, only to find that I could get into the system in under 10 minutes because they had usernames that were 2 letters long and a password that was 3 letters long, which was quite embarrassing for the company, and it had all their financial details in there, had customer data, etc. So there's some shocking cases out there.
Coming to the end of filming this documentary, we found ourselves with more questions than answers. How can we police something that we can't monitor? How can we punish criminals if we don't know who they are? If the dark web is almost 25 times the size of the normal internet, what is really hidden in there? One thing that is for sure is that the dark web is essentially anonymous. With constant questions of our privacy being asked by Google, as a society now we have to ask ourselves, do we want to continue to dance with the devil we know? Or to dance with the devil we don't?